Hello and welcome back. As you can see, I've still got the 01 controller out and the associated bits and pieces. We've got that Class 25. I never managed to get the top back on it, but it's still running around there merrily. So we'll have a quick look at these, and I wanted to have a look at the accessory module control, which I've got over there. It's R.068, I think. You can see it just hiding beyond the controllers. I thought I'd better have a quick look at that before I get this controller all put away, and we'll have a look at my new Morley controller, which is possibly far more exciting. So we'll just have a look at that coming through there, and we'll follow it around whilst we're here. Old mess of wire in there, but it has got the facility just to clip in one of those 01 modules. So I thought it was a good subject, but I never did get the top put back on. I have got the top put back on the Class 31, which is sitting in the station there. We should probably have a quick glance at that. But somebody has very kindly sent me a box of track, which is really, really enormously kind of them. So there's a box of first radius curves there, trying Hornby box, loads of lovely rusty staples in there, but the track is really beautiful. I think this is a full box plus a couple of pieces being pushed in. But we'll just have a look at that. I'll put some silica gel in there to keep the moisture out. So these arrived about 10 days ago. So they're in quite lovely condition. Those hardly used, I don't think. I think some of them may even be completely unused. Let's have a quick look at a couple more there. So they are very, very lovely. I'm going to enjoy using those, I think, when we get back to having super fall back down on the rails. But just look how shiny the edges are. So these must have been stored very, very carefully over the years, I think. So we'll just pop that back down there, pop the lid on, and as I said, I had got a box of track I ordered from Dave Angell. I think I mentioned that a couple of times now. So that arrived a while ago as well. So that's still in its box whilst I've unwrapped its innards. We'll have a look at that a little later on. Ooh, you can hear that Class 25 just stumbling on the diamond crossing there. Also in the last few days while I've been playing with this, I've been getting a bit of a stall, especially from the Class 31 coming across this curved point. It tended to short everything out on working with the 01. I've just fixed that with a little bit of tape across that rail there, which seemed to be causing the issue. It just tended to short everything out. I don't know whether that's a deficiency in the piece of track or because of the wheels on the Class 31 are too wide, but it wasn't an issue running on traditional control. Everything seemed to run through there quite nicely. So I think I'll get the other side of the railway here and we'll have a quick look at things, and we'll just follow her around just the one more time, just for the fun of it. And it's sort of like magic, really. I know this controller is very crude, but it's just so very nice that it works. And I think somebody said to me it's amazing that they ever got the system to work in the first place. So I'm not using the gimbal here. I've sort of fallen out with it at the moment. It's just annoying me. So perhaps the footage may be a bit shakier than it may need to be. So we've got that stopped there, and we'll actually I've stopped it just on the point blades again, so I'll just operate that very, very clunky switch there, and we'll just back her up. There we go. Switch the direction. So I have got the points all wired up still on the original capacitor discharge unit. There we go. So I think we've got a nice clear path into the station there. So let's just roll that forward. And we'll run her into the station. And we'll stop it there. So I think we'll just close points 1B there for now, and then we'll just have a look at this module, R.068, I think I said. So this is one of the points that I got from Dave Angell. It's an early System 6 piece of track, and I hadn't noticed. I have got a couple of these early ones with the the nice looking blades in them before, and I hadn't noticed that these centre rails here, or what I'm calling centre rails, on this particular piece are nickel silver. I haven't managed to dig out the other couple I've got to see if they are nickel silver, so that was quite interesting. So I've got the module wired up. I have to admit I bid on another one on eBay since I last made a video, and I won it, so I'm thinking I might get a few of these in. Now we'll just actually we should probably unplug the controller when we're doing this. I know the instructions do say we should do that, so we'll just give that a moment. So I know when I was talking about this last week, I was saying that as all my points are wired back to the controller, it might not be necessary if I was going to use these to place the modules closer to the points. And in a little more thinking, I think it's the common return which is going to do me in here, because I don't think I can take advantage of the common return. So maybe I will put these in as intended, closer to the point work where they may be needed when I get around to doing it. But I need a few more modules, and I think we're up at 34 points on the layout at the moment. So we only get 4 points per module. So let's plug this lot back in. Here we go. So if I now go accessory 1, you don't have to pre-select accessories, it just seems to know it. So if I press that button, I wonder if we can see that all in one, and we can hear that gentle click. So I'll hold that a little bit closer. It doesn't have the same snap as when they throw off a discharge unit, but it definitely throws it. So I just had to have a go at this before I put this away. So that's obviously, these could be wired in to take the feed from the track at any point around the layout. So originally that would have saved you an enormous amount of wiring. So I know it is possibly on the DAF side putting a retrofit to this, but I think probably it may have to be done just for fun. So I'm just going to have a look at this one last control here, one last bit of control before I put this away, and we have a look at the Morley controller. So we'll go for locomotive 3, enter. So that should be the class 31 there. So I can't remember whether this one's going to run the direction I require. It is. I've forgotten a set of points though, so I think I need 8R. So let's just throw 8R. There we go. So just listen to 3G, you'll hear the sound of them go. So that's quite a positive snap, isn't it? And compared to the snap from the 01 controller. And we get no snap at all. So have I unplugged something? So let's have a look. Have I knocked a cable? I've got. Let me reselect that. So accessory 1. There we go. I think the changing the locomotives has cleared the accessory. So listen to that. Compared to the positive snap of that. So I think we really are going to have to double up on those if I want to throw pairs of points in one. So I've opened number 8. Let's get that class 31 out, and we'll just have one run round with that, and I promise I'll get rid of the 01 for now. And there it is. Definitely got that half-wave sound about it. close that there, close up the points. So number 8R, and let's give that a little more power. So this is my sleeper train, and we've got the car transporter on the end of it. Storming around nicely. Let's get a couple of very wide shots of that. So she does have a completely different sound now she's got the roof back on it. A little bit more power. Those cars will be really rocking around on the transporter. So I suppose let's just calm that down. Yeah, I can never stop stuff before that point. Always seems to be an issue. So what I'm going to do, because for me to get my new Morley controller in here properly, I've got to rethink the point switches and their positioning just very slightly, and obviously take out this. There's a little bit of remedial wiring to do, but as everything's unconnected, I can make a basic connection to the layout. I'll put this away, and I'll get all the other locomotives back on the rails, and I'll convert back these locomotives, I think, and then we'll have a look, because it's going to be a while before I get around to playing with the 01. But I think if we have a quick glance at this, I was very pleased with this, and they're absolutely superb controllers. I'd read a fair bit about these. So we've got 2-track control. This is the Vanguard unit. It does have a cooling fan in. It makes minimal noise, but as you know from my layout, noise is not really the issue. We've got handheld controllers, look. So it comes with a pair of them. So you can have a look on their website at these items. So I think I'm going to get an extension for one of these. Obviously, I think it will give me that little bit more flexibility. I think these are 5 meters, so that gets me over the other side of the railway quite easily. So you can switch from normal control, which would be here, and handheld here. And we do have a capacitor discharge unit in here, but it's not best suited for the type of point switches I have. So maybe next layout will completely change the switching I'm using. We'll take advantage of the built-in capacitor discharge unit. I don't think it has quite the firepower of the one I have, or certainly not the recharge time. I think the one I've got is a bit perhaps over the top. So, and it does have these lovely smooth switches, and they've got a lovely center off feel to them, and it's exactly the same on the handheld controllers. And they feel very, very nice to use in action, although I haven't unwound this one yet. So I'll get all those things away. It may be a day or so before I film the next bit of this video. Let's just put that away. So there's a fair bit to do, and as ever, I'm fairly short of time. So I think time is constantly the issue at the moment, although we're sort of early August, second week of August just coming into, and I'm hoping end of August I've got planned time off the bank holiday weekend, so a very long weekend, which is when I originally put all this layout board in, I think last year when I started the work on it. So I've arranged to take some time off, and I think that may be very well the time I use to get the Morley controller in here for some fun and games. And I couldn't resist sort of one last go here, really. Just trying this Class 31 down here on the carpet so we don't have the reverberation of the board. So if we just listen to this. And we'll bring it back the other way. One more time. So it is very much the effect of, sounds very like the half wave on the traditional style of controllers, doesn't it? But quite controllable. I believe those steps in this speed controller are just quite crude. I don't think it's continuous. I think there are a number of steps in there rather than a smooth climb in power. And there you go. So I think that's probably more than enough for the 0-1 for now. So I've removed the module from the Class 31 and finally disconnected the 0-1. Now, just for comparison, I've got the Class 31 back on the same piece of track down on the carpet. I've got the clipper here, and at the moment we've got that set on full wave for what would be normal operation. Now, I don't have a spare one of these old Hornby sort of power control centres up there. I don't have a spare one of those to get down on the floor, but it will do the half wave, and we'll see the difference. Just a comparison for sound and so on. Excuse me, sitting back down on the floor here. So let's give that a little bit of power. So I've lost track of which direction I'm running, so I don't know whether I've set this up correctly. So that's on the normal full wave, which I would probably normally operate on the layout. And one more time. And then back again. Slightly different noise in each direction, so let's put that onto the half wave, and then let's see what the difference in sound is. And then the other direction. So a little bit more growly. Certainly a bit more vibration. I think we can even hear the roof vibrating just slightly. We'll give that one more try, I think. And it seemed really silly not to just have a comparison with the Class 31 on the carpet with the Morley controller. So we can see we've got LEDs here for the CDU is ready, and the accessories are ready there. But when I roll forwards there, we'll get a glowing LED saying we're running forward. And then when we go backwards, see if we can get that all in shot. So a completely different sound from the model again. Let's go a bit closer up. And back again. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. So here is the box of track that I'd mentioned in the last couple of videos, which I've bought from Dave Angell. Now he's had quite a bit of track for sale on his website, and whilst I do have quite a bit of Super 4 track already, it seemed like a good idea just to get a few extra pieces, because what I've learned from having this layout this large, even though I think I've calculated I've got enough track for what I want to do, is I'm always short of track. I've always been, when I've been playing with this System 6, I've always needed more. So since he had some fairly good quality track available, I thought I'd buy an extra few bits and pieces, the useful stuff. And he just happened to have, when I was talking to him, the System 6 pieces of track here, half sleeper end, the earlier version with the box on the side, and they've got the early point blades. I think they made these for a short period of time before going back to having cast blades. They're quite nice, as I mentioned earlier. They seem to have nickel silver parts in them as well, although the main part of the rails are all steel. So there was a couple of right hands of those and a left hand. I think there's slight damage on each one of them. They're just quite nice things to have. They do seem to be in good running order, though. I think we'll get some use out of those potentially if I do something again with the System 6 in the future. So I've got this list of track here because I can't remember the numbers. So a left-hand point, let's see if we can get focus on that, is R612, and a right-hand point would be R613. So quite an interesting page of track that. I don't think I've ever come across a piece of the flexi track yet. This early stuff, it says available spring 1970. I imagine that was used and didn't last terribly long. Sorry. So we'll pop that down and we'll just have a look at a couple of the other pieces. So I think there are 4 diamond crossings I've got here, and they're in reasonably good shape. So I'll open 1 or 2 of them. We won't open all of them. Some of this track is boxed, some is not. Some of it's in really excellent condition. Others of it is in good usable condition. So let's see if we can shake one of these out. So again, working one-handed here. So this is a fairly good-looking piece of track. These diamond crossings are quite difficult to find, I think, now in sensible condition. So I haven't tested them for continuity. I think what I found in the past is usually the better looking they are, the more crotchety they are. Sometimes the dodgy looking ones seem to run better than the good looking ones, but we'll see. I think I've repaired one on the old layout, I think. So I've got 2 of each direction on there. There's some interesting labels on some of these as well. Let's have a look. So that's pricing there. I don't know whether that's pounds or dollars. There is a piece of track in this box which has got a pricing in dollars of some description on it, or whether that's US or Canadian. I'm not entirely sure, so we'll just pop some of those down. And you see that again, there's multiple price tickets have been on these boxes over the period. So another left-hand diamond crossing. Whoops, it's falling down. So we'll look through these relatively quickly. I realise that these are probably fairly boring for a lot of people. So let's just have a look at one more. But to me, the track's as interesting as the locomotives and the rolling stock. So these are quite amazing to have survived in this condition. They must have been, like the box of track that a very kind person sent to me. These must have been kept in really, really nice conditions not to have corroded like this. So here's some point work here as well. So that's a fairly good used one. So there's a few of those. Let's take those out. So I think we've got left and right hands there. I think in total I got 10 lefts and 10 rights, some boxed and some unboxed. So again, that's a fairly good used one. I think there's plenty of life to be had in that one. So feeling really nice action on there. That'll clean up and use. That's comparable to some I've had on the layout before, and some of them were getting a bit past it on the layout. When the frog begins to wear, although that one looks relatively well used, but the mechanisms are quite nice. So we should have some. You can see that's been on the layout. It's got paint on it, but this is track at best. It's 45 years old or so, I suppose, or more probably, going back to the early 60s, but I think they stopped making this stuff in the 70s. So that one's got £2.50 on it. I think I did pay more than £2.50 for this. So these are historic prices on these pieces of track. So they're fairly good to have in store for future use. So again, not too much corrosion. There's a little bit on the fish plates there, but I think we're going to have good fun with these. It'll mean we've got plenty of options going forwards. So we'll pop those to one side. I've got some quarters, or what they call quarters. I think in reality they're not exactly quarters of a hole straight in the end. So there's a hole straight, and that's 3. So I think another one of those isn't going to make up the hole straight, is it? So again, I can't remember the model numbers or the catalogue numbers for these items. Let's just have a quick glance. I do have another sheet here. So the points are, for a left hand, R490, and a right hand, R491, and the quarter pieces there are R492. So let's just pop that to one side. So we'll pop those out. So we've got, I think there's 12 straights. I can't remember how many quarter pieces I got. There's some more quarters there. So I think that's 4 quarters. And it doesn't quite make the length of a single straight. So we'll pop that with the rest of the quarters. You can never have too many of the little pieces. I think they're always quite useful. So I think we have 12 of the standard straights there. Let's just pop that there. They're all getting in a mess. If you see the insert pictures there, these all came beautifully packed, very nicely sent, survived the postage very, very well. So one of these straights or isolating tracks has a price ticket on it, I think. So I don't know where it's gone to. So again, they're fairly good used condition. There's the odd sleeper end missing, especially the half sleeper end. So let's have a look at the list again. So the standard straight is R491, and then where have we got the isolating tracks are R497 there. So how many of those have I got? I can't remember. So we've got 5 there, and I think I have a box of 6 as well. So there, that's a price in dollars there. So is that $4.50 used? Trains and such. I wonder if anybody knows that store. I've got no idea whereabouts that was, but it's quite nice to find a price ticket like that on something, isn't it? So as I say, I think what we got 1, 2, 3, got 5 of those, and down there is a box with some more in, and I think I got 12 of these long straights as well. And another, actually no, 6. I've forgotten exactly what I've ordered here. So again, let's have a look at one of these long straights, or double straights. These are double straights, aren't they? They're not longs. So the long, let's see, that one's got sleeper ends missing. That half sleeper end really is a weak point on this track system. And again, mostly they're in fairly good condition. So the double straight is R480. Are we getting focus on that? It's very difficult to see. I think it's not a very sharp inkjet print to start with. So I think I had 12 of those. I'll pop those to one side. And just fish those out. So again, all in fairly nice condition. I did add up at one point all of the track used. I counted it all on the previous Super 4 layout, If I can find the numbers, and I'll include them in the corner of the screen there. So I got that, and I've collected more here and there since I dismantled it. I've got a number of the double straights, which are double these. So I wonder what the catalogue number is for those. Let's just have a look at that. So I think I had 12 of those on the last layout, R.068, and I think I've got another 12 of those since I dismantled the layout. So we're in good shape for the extra long pieces. So we've got one more straight down there. Maybe there is more than 12 of those. So here we've got a boxed, which I can't quite read on there. Is that the isolating track? 6 R.497, yeah. So I think that's the isolating tracks. So there's 6 in there. So I think they're used, but they're going to be in good condition. There's not too much damage, too much rust developing on them. And the surfaces, the running rails, are all really, really nice. So I think this is, unless you can get completely unused stuff, I think this is as good as you're getting, really. So we'll just pop that to one side. And then what have we got in here? I think we might actually have some more straights. Yeah, another 12 straights. I'd forgotten about the 12 straights. Now they might be unused. So let's have a look at that. So that might be a completely unused one. That's like a slightly waxy effect on that fish plate, isn't there? I'm not sure. I think that might have been used. But it's in fairly tidy condition either way, so we'll pop that back in the box. So there's a piece of tissue in there for packing as well. And we're not going to get overexcited about this one, because that says that should be 3rd radius in there. That's the big stuff, the stuff that's quite hard to get hold of. I do have some of this already. I had several of the large, the double curved 3rd radius on the other track. I have a handful of the 3rd radius already, but sadly this box just contains 2nd radius, which you need a lot of those when you're using the point work. And again, it's in fairly tidy condition. This, I think that is probably used, but has had quite a sheltered life, so we'll put that back in there. So good handful of, I think that's a full circle of the 2nd radius track. So there is a point. So what have we got here? So this is R.490, so that's a left-hand point. So let's see if I can get one of these out. So some of these boxed ones really are in super condition. I'm suspecting probably unused for some of these. I think that's a fairly lovely thing, isn't it? So I don't think there's any corrosion crept in on those at all. So let's just have it's a lovely action on there. It's just lightly sprung, and it is really positive in each direction. So again, I'm not going to get all of those out. So there's a nice piece of paperwork. I think that's fairly universal across the points for Super 4, and it tells you how the point motor could be added as well. Let's see if we can just open that out. I think we've looked at these instructions before in the past when we've been looking at the point motors, but always nice to have the paperwork. It's got some fairly heavy folds in it. I don't know whether it's got a date on the bottom though. But definitely Margate, Kent on the bottom there, isn't there? So, oops, we've dropped that. So, we've got another handful of those. As I say, I'm not going to open all of these. We'll just we'll pick another one at random. Again, some of the pricing on these boxes is probably more interesting than sitting around opening them. So let's just have a look at that. That doesn't mean a great deal to me. Is that DM? Is that a Deutschmark? I don't know. The mysteries of random figures written on paper, written on labels. So that's got R10 on there. It's got a 275. Is that 195? And there's another pricing under there. So let's have a look at that one. We'll open that one out and have a look. But again, fairly nice condition. It's very, very bright. I think I'd be surprised if that one had been used. So we're definitely going to be good for points in the future, I think, given the good handful I already do have in stock from the previous layout. So let's just have a quick look at the ends of the box. And they're upside down. And then we should probably have a look at that controller. So I've safely got the 01 stuff all put away now, and I've got the Morley controller plugged in over there, and it's just a basic connection. So I can control both the inside and outside circuits. I can use them, not independently at the moment, and there is no direct connection from my older controllers, apart from the one with the green lamp on is there to power the point work only, so there's no connection to the rails with those power supplies whatsoever. And you can see the cable coming out of the Morley was selected for using the handheld unit, and the cable is just running along the floor there, and it comes through to this side. So it gives me quite a good flexibility. There is an extension cable available, which I think I may well invest in, and that will just give me enough leeway to run it round to that side there, and then I'll be able to move freely down the full outside edge of the railway. At the moment it's just a little bit limiting, so it's a tiny bit of a stretch to get over and work in that corner, but let's give it a go. I'm very excited about these. And there's the Class 31 there, the one we were just having a look at with the 3 different controllers down there on the carpet. I have to apologise about the sunlight. It could be a bit all over the place this morning. It's a beautiful morning, bit cloudy, sunny, very changeable. So let's give that a little bit of power. Perhaps if I hold the controller in shot as well, perhaps. So we'll just follow that around. Now I have got the point work set up so I can run up and over, which is something I haven't been able to control from this side. Obviously I can't control the point work, but I can control the speed and the power. So we'll just run that around, looking lovely in the sunshine there. So the Morley controllers, it's 2.5 amps per side, so per outlet, should I say. It's got auxiliary power supply, and it's got the CDU, which we discussed earlier. So I think it's a good choice for this railway. Although, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to use the CDU on this particular layout with these type of switches. So I think this is some quite lovely control. It's completely different to anything I've ever had before. And I was just thinking about this while I was putting the 01 away, that this is the first new controller I've had since I was given the 01 as a birthday present. When it came out back in the late 70s. So I just think that level of control there is really quite good. So I'm having to leave the controller across to my left and leaning right over to get this at the moment. So I think we've got something, sounds like it may have come off the track there, but let's just give this a stop there and find out where we are. I think we've got a bogey off on this coach here. So it seems to have jumped the rails somewhere along the line. Let's give that another go. So again, we'll just give that a little more power. Into the sunshine. I think we'll bring this up onto the elevated section, and then I'll go back to the middle of the railway so we can change over a little bit of point work perhaps, and have a look at a couple of other models, just how they perform on this controller. This is not an in-depth review or technical review of how this controller works, it's just a quick play with it. I believe there are a number of other technical reports on these controllers online if you want to search that out. So I think we'll just leave that there for a second. So we'll pop that down, and I'll just move to the other side of the railway. So we're on the other side now, and we just have a quick look down the rear of these controllers. See, I've still got all that basically unconnected, and I've got crocodile clip connections there to the two circuits, so I can use them just for this quick look at how this runs. I think when the long bank holiday weekend comes, I'll get this swapped over. It does require a little bit of thought into how I'm going to slightly reposition these lever frame switches, and a bit of remedial wiring to suit this. So we'll swap back to regular control, and we'll unplug that. I'm going to put that safely out of there because I really don't want to turn around and trip myself up at the moment. So we'll do that, and I'm just going to have a quick glance at this point work and see if that's okay. It's not, so I think that's why the coach has jumped off the points there. So let's do that one. Not quite sure how that's happened, but I think that accounts for the derailment. So maybe I hadn't set that one. Maybe I'd run through it by accident without resetting it. So let's give that a little power. So she's on the elevated section there. So again, because I haven't remagnetized this, it's running in the opposite direction. But so the models tend to pick up loads of speed coming down here, especially with the weight behind them, but that's holding its speed very, very nicely. So I'm quite impressed with that. So we'll just bring her around just the once more. Let's stand back. We're going a little bit tighter. And then we'll pop something else on the rails. And let's see if we can run back to the controller now. And there we have it. So if I let's just seal up this elevated section now. We'll leave the path to the inside line open though. So let's get the looking for the uncoupler. So we'll whip this off, and we'll just pop on that Class 25. Yeah, so this is the one I've been fiddling with for the last few months. So there is an older video with the Class 25, I'll leave a link to it. I think I may have done that last week, but I shall do so again. If you want to see this one a bit more in depth, it's quite an interesting model on the inside. As we saw, I had that spaghetti in there for the 01 module. So let's give that a little bit of power now. So that should run round onto the inside line now quite happily. So it should run in the correct direction. If we watch that should go green and she should move forward. See if we can get that all in the shot. Let's just stop that there for a moment, and we'll which route shall we take through? So I think if I just open 4 and 1. Let's give that a go. So we want 1 and then 4, and I think that'll need 8R to come back in. So excuse me fiddling with the points, so that'll take a relatively interesting route around the railway, I think. A little bit of a stutter there. And then that should come back onto the outside line. Sorry, I'm not paying attention which direction I'm going. There we go. So let's just shut up this point here. And this one, number 8. I'll just have a quick run over this point here really, really slowly. And then backwards. So admittedly this is a later 70s model with the ring-filled motor. And it's got a sort of diagonal pickup, one side on the motor bogie and one side on the dummy bogie. And then we do have proper triangle speed. Let's bring that back. So fairly flexible, I think. A little bit sticky there though. Again, it could be the dirty track. So let's get this one uncoupled and let's pop something else on. Actually, rather than uncoupling all the time, I'm just going to put this into the siding, into the station. And we'll have a quick look at a couple of other models, and then we'll probably call it a day. The video is stretching on a little bit, so let's pull this one into the station. So let's just close up that point work now before I forget what I'm doing. There we go, and then we're just going to isolate her in the station. And then let's get the Princess out. So an early 70s model. So 1R. Now I think she should run. As far as I know, she should run forwards when we turn forwards as well. Sorry, I'm not pointing in the correct direction. Got the chuff chuff sound in, of course. There we have it. So if we just switch up the point behind her. So we want 1R. And if we open 8R, she'll run straight back round through the same route, I think, that we just had through that crossover outside the station here. So let's see how we do with that. So this level of control is something that's new to me. I haven't had this available to me before. A little bit of a stutter there on the crossing. Just not possible with the earlier controllers, I don't think. Not this consistent anyhow. Slight jump in the point work there. And let's stop her there. So I'm just going to seal up the points behind her. So we will go for 8R, and I'm going to open up 1B in front and 2B, and we'll just bring her back onto the inside line. A little bit of stickiness there on the point. And then we'll just back her into the siding where she came from. So as I said earlier, I think I'm going to have quite a bit of fun with this. But also very much looking forward to having a little bit more of a play with the 01 which we saw earlier. I'm quite excited about that. So let's try this King Edward here. So we'll get the king out. I don't know why I closed number 1 there. It should have been number 2 I opened. So we won't bother hooking up with any coaches, just for the in the interest of keeping this a little bit shorter than it's turning out. So again, a Ringfield motor in the tender here. So we'll just close 1R up. Gone blind, I can't see all of the point switches, so let's just get in tight on this. So again, we'll just bring it through that crossover. Fairly impressive stuff. Well, it is to me anyway. I know many of you may have controllers like this already, but this is something new for me. So it's just reading about it and thinking, well, perhaps it's time I did give it a go and see what the more advanced contemporary electronics were like. So we just need to change. No, we don't. It's all good. I'm losing track. So we'll open 1R. So there we go. And we'll just back her back where she came from, just onto the turntable approach, I think. Or onto the turntable. There, so let's close that up. 2R. And I think really what we should perhaps just look at just before we say goodbye is perhaps the Caledonian single over there. So this is one of those models which will go very, very rapidly when it goes downhill, even on the absolute minimum control. So I'm just going to have a quick glance at the point work I need to switch for this. So 2W, 1W, 1Y, 8R is already set. And 1Y. I don't know whether she's isolated. I can't remember whether I did isolate her. So let's see if we've got some action over here. So again, a traditionally lively model. I'll just prepare the track work. So we want there, and we need to roll her forwards a little bit so she's running the opposite way on the railway. So that's quite impressive control already for this particular model. Let's see how that does on the diamond. Pretty good, eh? So we'll just bring this up to the elevated section, and then we'll switch open the relevant point work. So that's sustaining really nice steady speed, completely untouched. So we'll come back to the controller. We'll just bring that to a stop just before we get the elevated section. There we have it. So we shall prepare this. I've stopped her on the points. This is why it doesn't sound good. So let's back her up. Hopefully we haven't derailed that front truck. That's what it's meant to sound like. And then we want 2B and 1B. So let's make her move away. So that's quite impressive. It's got all of the 5 of my Caledonians there, really beautiful coaches. So let's just make her move away. I'm anticipating a little wheel slip here. It's asking a little bit too much for the just the single drive wheel there, but she is going to do it. They are plated wheels on this model, but the really interesting bit I think is going to be this descent here. Let's see how she does with this. So while she picks up a fraction of speed, she hasn't just torn away like she would have on the other controllers. So I think that's really very, very controlled. So we'll just follow her around just the once more. I keep saying that, don't I? We must begin to wrap this video up. But there's an element of excitement here. A bit more power, losing track altogether. So I can give it loads. And she'll fly up there. Let's control her really gently backwards now. Yeah, so that's just not possible on the other controller at all.